Wow.
So this is what they do, Rob. That's what they do. Any questions about that part?
No.
Okay. All right. So, so I'm going to make an assumption here because my math is not great. Your date of birth, because you said. Okay. All right. And makes you 65 years young now. Now, have you used any tobacco?
Never smoked in my life. Never drank.
All right. Good. Now, this next question, Robin, is a long question with a short answer.
So now I'm going through all the questions that I need in order to make the application make sense so I can figure out what she would qualify for. So I'm going to kind of skip that and go to the end of this so that you can kind of have a better understanding of where we were. So just remember, in the beginning, she was shopping. She didn't want to make any decisions until December. So just remember all that. So here's the deal. What we found out here is that she's on, so this is kind of going to the end. We found out she was on 11 medications. Yeah, 11 medications. And the reality of her being able to get covered has lessened the more she talked. So most companies will tell her one thing, and when the rubber meets the road, it's going to be something completely different. She was on 11 medications, right? And she had some serious conditions that she was battling with. And this is why I like working with one company that can pretty much do everything. And I don't have to go and check and see who is going to cover what. So, yeah.
Work doesn't necessarily start until that day comes. So if we were to imagine 40 years from now, you're in the hospital, it's not looking great.
So this is the part where I tell a story of how when that day comes, what will happen in that day if you were to pass away 40 years from now. What would happen at that point in time if you were in the hospital? So I kind of tell a story with that, but at the same time, I'm entering the information into the system so I can kind of buy myself some time. I'm doing the application while I'm talking, and I've just gotten good at talking and doing the application, but at the same time, moving the call along by telling her a story of the most important time that this policy takes place is when you need it the most, when your boys lose you. And this is a part where I'm telling a story, but allowing the emotion to come out to try to pull it out of her, where she can hear it and know this is what's going on, or this is what's going to happen, and then face that reality, because this is an emotional buy. It is not a logical buy. It's an emotional buy. You understand that they're going to be purchasing something that doesn't have any tangible evidence to it, that they'll never see, and they'll never get the money from it. So they won't get the benefit from it in their lifetime. It'll only be beneficial in their death.
40 years ago, they got this card in their pocket, and they said, Mom said, call this number. They call that number, and everything's taken care of.
That would be great.
What if that happens?
That would be great.
They wouldn't have to worry about money. They wouldn't have to worry about arrangements. Everything was planned because Mom took care of it. All right. So before I kind of go into the quote, do you understand that if you have a heart issue, it's going to make you into a higher risk than someone who doesn't have that? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. But another thing is,
so I asked that question because I want to bring her down to reality. Someone who has a heart issue and someone who doesn't, they're more likely to be able to get better coverage because they're a lower risk. And I want her to hear it and then tell me she understands it, because if she understands that dynamic, we're not dealing with the objection at the end. It costs too much. We're not dealing with that. I'm trying to kill that objection right now so that we don't have that objection in the end. All right.
I guess I'm living in a unrealistic world because we're all gonna die. Okay, so to me, whether you have a heart condition or you go out and get killed by a car, you're dead. So I don't understand the penalizing. You know what I'm saying? It's just difficult for me to understand the penalizing someone because they're ill, because they're old. That's just the insurance world, you know. But I've never understood that. I'm like, we're all gonna die, so if you go out and get killed by a car, you got to pay that policy. If I die of a heart attack, you got to pay the policy. Is it just about the premium? Is that what we're saying?
So what it is about risk. So a life insurance company knows they got to pay something out, but the risk they want to take is whether they pay out a large amount or a smaller amount. So they want to manage that risk by determining how much they're going to pay out. They look at all these different statistics and factors, and they say, well, people who have this usually live this long. People who have that, so they're looking out, of course, for their interest before your interest. But at the same time, they want to make sure they provide something for you. So kind of like car insurance. You know, we pay it every single year. We're not in an accident, but we're paying it every single year. So they're mitigating risk. They know that people are going to pay the car insurance because they have to. But at the same time, they know that if the person has a lot of traffic tickets, they're going to pay more.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So can I just ask if the amount of coverage you're hoping for is too much? Are you open to just reducing the amount of coverage to possibly even ease?
So before I go there, I do want to say this. I don't know if that was the best explanation I could have given, but I think that it kind of brought it home to her to understand, hey, I do understand that this would, I was trying to get her to understand if a life insurance company is going to take a risk, they want to know what they're taking a risk on. And I think she kind of got it. I probably could have asked her, does that make sense? Why does it make sense? Or tell me how you understand that, or, you know, what do you think of that? What's your feeling behind that? You know, I could have asked her something just to give her, get that she got it. You know what I mean? All right.
Good. Because if your family got less to pay for your funeral, that would be a huge head start than if they had nothing, because something is better than nothing. Right? You're open to that,
right? I understand.
Okay. Now, I know you understand, but Robin, are you open to that possibility though?
Well, I'm the type. If I don't have a choice, I don't have a choice. You know.
So I wanted to make sure she said she understood, but I want to make sure she's open to it. Because understanding and being open to it is two different things. So I want to make sure you're open to the fact that if we had to get you less coverage, would you be open to that? I want to know if you're open to it. I don't want to know if you just understand.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, you got a choice. You always have a choice.
Yeah.
You can just say no. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I will weigh those odds. You know. I'll look at it and say, okay, you know, it just depends on how low it is, because I still, you know, it just depends.
So, do you have a pen and piece of paper there? I want to get some information.
Yes, I do.
And just out of...
So here's where I'm kind of going forward with it and just kind of finding out what she can get covered for it. I'm moving towards the quotes. I'm going to skip here. So there was an objection that she came up with that she had to really talk to her sons before she made a decision. And so there was something I didn't do because I didn't have that objection ahead of time to know that she wanted to talk to her sons. I mean, it was about the whole idea that she wasn't wanting to wait until December, but it was an objection that came up before I even got before we even really closed. So